Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So in today's video we are going to talk about the recent results in the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. In this ASMR football video, or soccer video for some of you. And we're going to talk about all of the results, and once we've done that we will look ahead at the fixtures to come, and I hope that you really enjoy the video and find it at the very least relaxing, which is what it's aimed to be, as well as you keeping up on the latest football news. Okay, let's get started then. Right, so we'll take a look at all of the first round matches, or not the first round matches, but the first leg, that's the word I meant. Because of course Galatasaray actually were beating Liverpool after their result in Istanbul. There was some crazy start. They haven't ever lost a European knockout game at home. I think that's the start, or something very similar. So Lamina was with the goal, and Galatasaray beating Liverpool 1-0. Almost as good as over Atalanta at home, losing 6-1 to Imperious Bayern München, who I personally have picked to reach the final. Stanisic, Olise, Gnabry, Jackson and Musiala with the goals, and only Bashalic with the goal for the home team. Remember, they were the last Italian team at this point in the Champions League and one of only a handful still in European competition. And the analysis of this game, I watched it so many times. 5-2, Atletico Madrid 5, Tottenham 2, Llorente, Griezmann, Alvarez with 2 goals in Le Normand. Easy for me to say. Le Normand with the other goal for Atleti, with Porro and Solanke with the 2 goals for Spurs. Of course, Kinski was sort of the target of a lot of focus after this match, because within 15 minutes, after a couple of basic errors at the back, he was substituted. So literally after 15 minutes, after he got a chance to replace Vicario. At the time the manager didn't have any interaction with him, so subs were running down the tunnel because he was obviously devastated. They were 3-0 down in 15 minutes. At least one of them was directly his mistake. The other 2 were a little bit, debatable. And he just basically had an absolute stinker at the back. But it's kind of, particularly after the match on the weekend with Spurs in the league, it's obviously a collective issue, the fact that they're just so leaky with goals at the back. My argument being, at least under Ange Postecoglou, this is to try and score, but now they also don't score that often and leak goals. So as good as over that tie as well. And at the time, this seemed like an extremely good result, a very disappointing last-minute penalty. It was a penalty. It was such a stupid penalty as well by Thiaw. Was it Thiaw? No, who was it? Yeah, Thiaw, I think, gave away the penalty at the end, if I remember correctly. 1-1. Barnes with a late goal, what Newcastle deserved, and then 96th minute penalty. Of course, there were only 94 minutes of extra time, but we won't go there. So, almost a very famous victory over Barcelona at home. And then Leverkusen managed to eke out a draw with Arsenal. Andrich with the opening goal for the home team, and Havertz with a penalty right at the end. Havertz used to be a player by Leverkusen, if I remember correctly. And I think he's still thought of quite highly there. Bodø/Glimt just continuing to have this fairy tale at this point. 3-0 winners over Sporting. Fett with a penalty. Blomberg and Høeg with the other goals. I said one of these 2 teams are going to have a fantastic opportunity to get into a quarter-final. And at this point in time, I just assumed it was going to be Bodo Glimt, but we will see what happened in a moment. Another big result, this time Paris Saint-Germain 5, Chelsea 2, who have started to really falter now. Their managers under a lot of scrutiny. Goals from Barcola, Dembele, Vitinha, and 2 from Kvara, Gusto and Fernandes with the goals for Chelsea. Fernandes, the rumour mill starting that he wants to leave, maybe go to Real Madrid. And talking of Real Madrid, quite unexpected, I said they would be, what did I say? They'll be crushed. They'll never get through. Never listen to me, never listen to me. 3-0 over Man City, what a shock. And Valverde with the hat-trick. Absolutely superb player. But, he says, then we had the away legs. Sporting, in this incredible comeback, could they get further than the quarterfinals? We'll find out soon. But they're obviously on a fantastic run at the minute. So they lose 3-0 out in Norway, which is notoriously difficult. Everyone's lost there, from Inter to whoever. And then Sporting get 3-0 at home in normal time, and then 2 in extra time to make it 5-0, crushing obviously for the Norwegians, who have lit up the competition. But is this part of Sporting's little fairy tale? We'll soon find out, I suppose. But we are enjoying these unfamiliar names. I personally am enjoying the lesser known, lesser common names at this level succeeding. So well done to Sporting, brilliant for Portuguese football obviously, and extremely well done. A salute to Bodo Glimt for lighting up the competition this year. Arsenal 2-0 winners over Leverkusen, Eze and Rice with the goals to put the, I suppose, like everyone's favourites through to win the competition. And then another battering, this time at home, Chelsea 0, PSG 3. Kvara with another goal, Barcola again, and Mayulu this time with the 3rd goal. So Chelsea completely falling off the wagon there. And apparently, I didn't see the game, but apparently the red card completely changed the match. So Vinicius had scored, Haaland scored an equaliser, and then Vinicius penalty in the 93rd, but it was all too late, and Madrid are in the quarterfinals again. They just get to this stage of the competition and they just come out with these amazing results, even if they've struggled in the group stage. No one fancies them, they still make it through. So Man City gone, shockingly. I am a little bit worried about Eddie Howe's job at the moment, particularly after the weekend results in the league. So Elanga scored 2 goals, but Barcelona scored 7. I mean, they are an insanely talented attacking team. I said they won't reach the final because their defence will be an issue. Rafinha with 2 goals, Bernal with 1, Lamine Yamal with another penalty, Lopez with another goal, and Lewandowski with 2. Absolutely crushing for Newcastle, and obviously they don't look anywhere near getting back into Europe next year based on their performance in the league. So what's next for Newcastle? Are they going to, I don't know, are they going to lose some of the big players like Bruno, Tonali? Are they going to go if they can't get European football? Big question marks at the moment with Eddie Howe. And quite an embarrassing 4-1, so making it 10-2 on aggregate against Atalanta, who aren't even that bad. Just that's how good Bayern are at the moment. So 2 for Kane, 1 for Carl, and 1 for Luis Diaz. Samajic with the only goal for Atalanta, and we say goodbye to the last Italian team in the Champions League for this season. Onward and upward for Bayern, as well as Liverpool, who had an impressive turnaround at home, cancelling up that 1-0 loss away with goals from Szoboszlai, Ekitike, Gravenberch and Salah to make it 4-0. And again put Galatasaray out it's been fantastic watching them in the competition this year. They're so attacking, so exciting to watch. I hope to see them in the competition again next year. Goodbye to them, goodbye to Bodo Glimt, and then also goodbye to Spurs, who did win encouragingly 3-2 against Atleti at home. Colomwani with a goal and 2 for Xavi Simons, but Alvarez and Hanchko with the goals for the away team, ensuring that 5-7 on aggregate Spurs go out, as they might go out of the Premier League if they don't kick themselves up the backside. Okay, so we're at the quarter-final stage, the exciting part. Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool. I said whoever would win from Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain would beat Liverpool. Have I changed my mind? No, I don't think I have, particularly with how strong Paris Saint-Germain looked against Chelsea, and the fact that Liverpool lost away to Galatasaray. So this is a rematch of one of the knockout games from last year, in which Liverpool managed to get a 1-0 victory and then get turned over. So they're going to need some heroics from Alisson again, I believe. Although Mamadashvili played on the weekend, so I don't know if Alisson's injured, which is quite worrying. So I think Paris Saint-Germain should win. Real against Bayern. Obviously, only a fool says that the Real cannot win. I'm going to stick to my guns and say Bayern are going to reach the final. But I'm salivating at the thought of Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern in the semis, though. But it's Real, and you can never say never. So, I'm willing to eat my hat. Barcelona against Atleti Madrid. They've played each other a lot this season. They've played each other in the cup, in which Atleti won. Put them out of the Copa del Rey. So do not count Atleti out, but I think Barcelona will probably get through, which is what I predicted. And Sporting against Arsenal. Sporting have a good record against Arsenal. I remember them beating them in the Europa League a couple of years ago. I say a couple, it's probably about 6 now. But they've still beaten them. I do think Arsenal are going to reach the final. I do think Arsenal are one of the only teams that can beat Barcelona. And they can exploit that high line. So I'm going with that. I'm going to say I haven't changed my mind just yet. Barcelona to get through. Sporting, but Arsenal to get through. And then Arsenal to reach the final against Bayern München. What do you think? Am I completely wrong? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section. Let's do a slightly shorter version of that for the Europa League and then the Conference League then. And we will catch up with all of those fixtures then. So Bologna drawing with Roma, who were a little bit under, what's the word I'm looking for? They were below par. And Bologna's got this high man-for-man press going on. I was really impressed by them. Bernardeschi had a fantastic game. Pellegrini came into the match towards the end and got an equaliser, so 1-1 between the two Italian sides. Only one can get through. Aston Villa beating Lille away 1-0 with a goal from Ollie Watkins. Panathinaikos beating Real Betis, a red card apiece. And Taborda with a penalty on the 88th minute. Then Stuttgart lost at home. Porto, I think, is going to reach the final. Dennis Undav with the goal for the home team, and Moffi and Mora with the goals for the away team. Celta Vigo with 10 men nearly beat Lyon. So Endrick, on loan from Real Madrid, of course, with a late equaliser to cancel out Rueda's early goal. Ferencváros, I predicted Braga to win this, so they beat Braga 2-0, Kanechowski and Josef with the 2 goals for Robbie Keane's team. Genk beating Freiburg 1-0 with a goal from El Wadi in Belgium. And Forest losing at home again to Midtjylland with a goal from Cho in the 80th minute. In the turnaround match, however, I was right in the sense of Braga. They did eventually win 4-0 at home in Portugal. Horta with 2 goals, Krelic with 1 and Martinez with another. So we say goodbye to the Hungarians. Narrow victory away in Denmark, 2-1 win for Nottingham Forest. Erlich with the only goal for the home team, and then Dominguez and Yates for the away team, eventually putting that on penalties. Complete turnaround. We're seeing a lot of these this year, aren't we? 5-1 victories, so 5-2 overall. Smets with the goal for the away team, but for the home team, Ginter, Matanovic, Grifo, Suzuki and Eggestein. 5 goals, what a thrashing. I watched parts of this match. Lyon huffed and puffed, but they just couldn't break down the really solid defence. This Celta Vigo team are growing in stature both in La Liga and in Europe. I think something is really fantastic is going to happen. Either they're going to get back into Europe in successive seasons, which Celta Vigo were a little bit of a bounce team, you know, from the first division up to La Liga, or just hovering around relegation. So it's fantastic that they're back in European competition again. And they performed brilliantly away from home. They did the counter-attack thing really well. 2 red cards for Lyon, and Rueda and Jucla with the goals for the away team, the Spaniards. And yeah, just Lyon huffed and puffed. They played quite well, but they didn't really get anywhere near goal. Lille losing 2-0 in Birmingham to Aston Villa then. McGinn and Bailey with the 2 goals. Then Porto sealed the deal against Stuttgart. Gomes and Froholt with the 2 goals, 2-0 winners for the Portuguese team. Real Betis did another turnaround, so they lost 1-0 in Greece. They've won 4-0 in Seville, so Real Betis 4-0. Ruibal, Amrabat, Hernandez and Anthony, the GOAT, who was man of the match apparently, beating Panathinaikos and putting out the Greek team, so no Greek teams then left in the top 2 competitions. And broke my heart, Bologna, broke my heart. After extra time, Bologna put out Roma in the Stadio Olimpico. Rowe, the Englishman, was absolutely fantastic. Run us to within an inch of our lives. We did our best. It was a spectacle for the neutral, I have to say, but not being a neutral, my heart. Andika, Donimala and Pellegrini with the goals for the home team. Rowe, Bernadeschi again. Silly penalty, absolutely silly from El Shaarawy. Castro and that killer goal at the end from Cambiaghi when we were all over Bologna. They were winning 3-1 and then we got 3-all, got into extra time and they were on the ropes, but they were brilliant on their counter-attack. So Bologna are the top team in Italy left in European competitions, and they are like 9th in the league, I think. Yeah, 9th. So that they are the only remaining team, apart from, we'll see in a little bit, Fiorentina, but Fiorentina fighting against relegation this year. So Italy have not had the best of years in Europe. Okay, quarter-final time then. So Braga, Real Betis. I think Real Betis probably will get through that one. Freiburg, Celta Vigo. I'm going to put my money on Celta Vigo. At this point, I'm almost ready to say to reach the final. That's how much I'm enjoying watching them at the moment. Porto against Forest. I think Forest are shaky. They're fighting relegation in England. Porto to get through. They're still my favourites. And Bologna, Aston Villa. I think it would have been a really fantastic game. I might have even gone to see it because Birmingham's not that far from me if it were Roma, but it's not. It's Bologna, and I don't think Bologna will get through. I think they'll scare them in Bologna with this man-for-man high pressing, but basically in both games they were exhausted by the hour mark. and in both games we scored multiple goals against them after the hour mark when they were totally knackered. So if Aston Villa can hold out for an hour and not concede 1 or 2 goals, then they will probably score 2 goals in that final half an hour of the match. And I think the Porto will beat Aston Villa and get to the final to face Celta Vigo. And at that point I think it's 50-50, but Porto for me are still favourites to win this competition. Let me know if you agree with me or totally disagree with me in the comment section. Last but not least, one of my favourites, as we know on this channel. I love the drama and I love the fact that all these unusual teams get a chance to shine. So Alkmaar beating Sparta Praha 2-1. Lech Poznan losing at home to Shakhtar Donetsk 3-1. Rijeka, the Croatians, losing at home to Strasbourg 2-1. Samsunspor in Turkey losing at home to Rayo Vallecano of Spain 3-1. A drab 0-0 draw at home. I watched, I was like, I'm so bored. Crystal Palace 0, Larnaca 0. Obviously the Cypriots doing brilliantly. Fiorentina beating Polish team Raków Częstochowa 2-1. Celje of Slovenia losing at home 4-0 to AEK Athens. And then Czech team Sigma Olomouc drawing at home with Mainz of Germany. And in the return legs then, Athens losing at home 2-0 to the Slovenians. Josifov, I couldn't say his name then, Josifov and Vankas with the 2 goals. But it was enough, they could have lost even more and they would have been fine. Crystal Palace finally got themselves into gear. 2 red cards for the home team in Cyprus helped. Saborit with the goal for them, but the away team saw, including one in extra time, with the goals to get the South London team through to the next round. Mainz of Germany beating the Czechs 2-0, Posh and Zeeb with the 2 goals. The Poles at home lost to Fiorentina. Obviously they've been in the final of this competition twice and lost it twice, so I'm hoping it's their year. They're a little bit distracted by their form in Serie A, of course. Struski with the home goal, but Piccoli and Pongracic in the injury time, extra time, 97th minute. Oh no, that's injury time. For getting the winner for Fiorentina. And then Rayo Vallecano losing at home but still getting through and die with the goal for Samsunspor. So that means all Turkish teams are out now, I think. Shakhtar Donetsk again losing at home, lots of this happening in this round. Moutinho with an own goal and a red card as well, but Ishak couldn't save the Poznan team. Lech 2-1 winners on the day, but 4-3 loss overall, and the Ukrainians are through, which I think means all the Polish teams are out as well. Sparta Praha losing at home 4-0 to Dutch Alkmaar, 4-0 Jensen, Troy Parrott, Mainons and Dahl. So that is all of the Czech teams gone as well, and Strasbourg drawing 1-0 with Rijeka, putting them out 3-2 on aggregate. Barko with a goal for the home team and Fruk for the away team. That means all Croatian teams are out as well. So we still have a Czech team. Sorry, Czech. I'm pointing at him, saying Czech. Greek. We still have a Greek team. Italian, Spanish, German, English, Ukrainian, and Dutch and French left in the competition. So let's take a look at the knockout round then. Quarterfinals. Shakhtar against Alkmaar. I think Alkmaar are slight favourites, but Shakhtar are obviously a very good team. Lots of very good Brazilians. What a story for them if they could reach a semi-final with everything going on, particularly because they haven't played in their home stadium for about 7 years. So obviously, sorry Dutch. I usually support the Dutch teams, and Alkmaar are the last Dutch team left in Europe, I believe. They had a bit of a year like the Italians, they haven't done well. But all the same, as a neutral, you've got to support the Ukrainians. Crystal Palace against Fiorentina, I think will be very tough. I think Fiorentina might win that. I think their form is a little bit better than Crystal Palace, which is, they're a little underwhelming at times, and I think if Fiorentina can keep them low scoring, like a 0-0, then they could pip it, maybe even on penalties or something. Rayo Vallecano, AEK Athens. What an amazing, absolutely amazing opportunity for either of these teams to be in a semi-final of a European competition, particularly Rayo Vallecano, who, previous to what I was saying with Celta Vigo, are usually a yo-yo team in Spain, often getting relegated and coming back up. That's unbelievable that they've got a chance to win something in European competition. However, I think on balance I'm going to put my money on AEK Athens. And Mainz against Strasbourg are two of the best teams left in the competition. I think that those there and those there are my sort of strongest teams. Had Crystal Palace been against most of the teams, I would have said them to get through. And the same with Mainz. I think they would have beaten most of the other teams, but Strasbourg for me will get through. So Strasbourg will beat AEK Athens and get to the final. And then Fiorentina will beat Shakhtar Donetsk and get to the final. And who knows, could they lose a third final in 4 years? That would be heartbreaking. My support will be with La Viola if they are in the final, because I wouldn't like to see that happen. They're a fantastic club. Always love a Fiorentina tops as well, don't they? They just have the best shirts. So that's my prediction, Fiorentina to win it against Strasbourg in the final. What do you think? Call me crazy. Let me know in the comment section what you believe, and leave a like on this video, leave that comment, subscribe if you're new, and we always do these roundups after the results, so tune in for them. And I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to record the next video, which is going to be talking about the weekend results, and that'll be out in a couple of days' time, so take a look for that in a couple of days. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget you can catch me on Patreon as well, and see you soon.